Thank you so much for this beautiful, poetic movie. It's like a fairy tale in the suburbs. I would like to jump to the very beginning of this project. I saw on IMDb that you made a short film with this more or less same title. And maybe you can tell me about, or us a little bit about the beginning of this project.
Okay. So with Jérémy, we are not from Paris, and we arrived in Paris 5 years ago. And we arrived not exactly in Paris, but in Paris suburbs, in Ivry-sur-Seine. And that's where we met Gagarine, this building, this big red building. And we were very impressed first by the architecture, and then because we learned at the same time we met this building that it was going to be demolished, we decided immediately to write a story about this place. And we met the inhabitants also, and they told us that Yuri Gagarin, the astronaut, was the man that inaugurated this place in the 60s and gave his name to this place. So for us, it was the perfect beginning for a story. So we decided 5 years ago to tell the story of Yuri, a young guy who see his building as if it was his spaceship, and first it took the form of a short film of 15 minutes, and then now 4 years after, we are here to present the feature film, the long version of this story.
That's beautiful. Did you want to make a documentary in the beginning, or how did it come together that you made documentary part and fictional part together?
Well, from the very beginning, I think we really wanted to make a fiction of this movie, because we wanted to create a story of a hero in this building, in this social housing project, and to be able to do that, and to be able to take a step on the side of the reality, the fiction was a good shape for us. We do have some roots in the documentary. I did a master degree in a documentary school. Fanny, she worked in a social housing project with artistic projects in Marseille for a few years. And when we met together, we're friends for a long time, but when we arrived in Paris together 6 years ago, we really wanted both of us to make fiction. And Gagarine was the perfect place for our first step in fiction.
When we talk about the suburbs, it's always and many times we hear about drug traffic and things, violences, and it exists, but also in these places you find normal people and people with big dreams, and that's what we wanted to, why we wanted to use the fiction also, and it was to talk about the dreams of the young people that you can meet in the reality.
How did you do the casting? Because I think it's probably not that easy to find this exactly those people that you were searching for, and young people. Did they have acting courses, and how did you do that?
At the beginning, with our casting director, we looked around Gagarine. We in our heart, we would have loved to find Yuri among the inhabitants of the building, but we didn't find among the young of Gagarine our Yuri. So we expanded the perimeter, yes, around Paris and the other blocks all around Paris. And finally, Alseni Batili, who is our Yuri, he has something complex between a man body. He is very sportive, and he's 17. He's already a man, but he also is still a kid, and he has something in his heart of childhood that is something we really wanted to find for our main character.
Yeah, so for Alcini, it was a first experience of acting, but he was surrounded by actors a bit more experimented. And also, we asked to real inhabitants to play in the film, so you can see many of them in the eclipse scene or at the end of the film when they watched the building. So it was very emotional.
Yeah, it was very emotional because on the final scene you have 200 people who were actually inhabitants of Gagarine and who come to say goodbye on the fiction and somehow on reality also.
You always work together, right? How do you split your work on the set?
We don't really split because we've been learning together to make films since the very beginning. We work a lot together before the set, the shooting, and we write together. So we after years and of preparation, we have the same idea of the film, and we do. Both of us are doing the talking to the chef opérateur, I don't know,
the DOP.
The DOP, and also to the actors, and sometimes we change. Yeah.
I really liked also the directing of the actors, and I think it's maybe even very nice that you come from a thinking of documentary. Can you do you also work like that? You just let people party, or in the scene where they dance, for example? Do you just is that would you describe it more or less like a documentary style filming also?
I'm not sure it's very documentary style the way we do it, because on the set we never have enough time, and we give quite an importance to the frame and to the way we want to shoot. So to be able to combine life given from the actors and the way we want to frame it, sometimes we have to impose limits. For instance, we don't give so much room to improvisation. But what we did is for a few months is we worked with the actors, repeating all the scenes and giving them the opportunity to somehow rewrite the language we gave to the characters, so they would be able to give their own truth to their characters. And when we would feel that we found altogether the good sentences, we would write it as a definitive script, and almost always we would keep to it, I think.
Is there anything I didn't ask that you wanted to tell?
Maybe one thing we can talk about a little bit is that in our influences, both of us spent some years in South America, and we've been very touched and influenced by realism, magical realism, Garcia Marquez, but also some Latin directors. We really wanted to find a balance in Gagarine between a movie that talks about social reality, really grounded in something real, but at the same time make a movie that has fantasy, poetry, and even some science fiction, maybe. Magical realism for us as directors gave us also a lot of freedom of expression, being able to make our main character fly in his spaceship, and building all those kind of images was quite fun for us.
Yeah, and also we wanted to write the story of this Yuri, which is someone
kind
and and with a head full of dreams. And some people would tell us, but it's too kind, and it's not possible. This character, this Yuri, is too kind, and we're very happy to have insisted to make a kind character. He grew up in these suburbs, surrounded with social issues, but he has big dreams. He's a kind person.
And what we want to say with this film is that the power of the community is still very strong, and our main character, he feels so strong and full of dreams. It's first of all because he grew up with an entire community around him, and we really wanted to give homage to these people, of course.
Thank you very much for this nice talk. And
thanks to you, and thanks to all the people who watched the film. We hope we enjoyed it.
Bye bye. Au
revoir.
Au revoir.